Seated on the dais with me, Professor V. Kamakoti ji, Professor Ramurthy ji, Professor Nagendra Krishnapura ji, a wonderful student body present here today from Jiva to the whole kaleidoscope of knowledge that I have before me today. It's wonderful being in the fountainhead of knowledge. IIT Madras has a long history of innovation, a long history of excellence, a long history of entrepreneurism. And to my delight, I was a witness to that today when as soon as I entered this auditorium and the Center for Science and Research, which by the way happenstance was inaugurated by my father in 1995, and which struck an emotional chord with me when I saw his name on that plaque. As HRD Minister, he and MS Swaminathan ji together were here, and one of the ladies that was accompanying me also showed me the photograph of that day. And it just goes to show the amount of progress and development that this institution has made over the last 3 decades. As soon as I entered the hallowed portals of this wonderful building, I was stopped in my tracks by a group of not students, but a group of entrepreneurs who showed me that whilst the world has executed 5G, India has been the fastest executor of a 5G model anywhere in the globe. In 22 months, we've built out a network that has covered 98% of our cities and 4.5 lakh BTSs. Never in the history of telecom has such a rapid paradigm shift taken place in any country as we have witnessed in India. And whilst I'm extolling the virtues of this monumental change, I was stopped in my tracks by Jiva and his team, who showed me on their phone how IIT Chennai has come up with its own 4G stack on which it's running its own complete holistic communications environment around the full campus. This is ingenuity at its best. This is entrepreneurism at its best. This is innovation at its best. And this is IIT Chennai at its best, with its slogan that duty gives you the best results. As Professor Kamakoti ji explained to me, and this is not only IIT Chennai at its best, but this, ladies and gentlemen, is Bharat Mata at her best. So a loud round of applause for my young Jiva and his team standing right at the back. I want to congratulate you all also. In the National Institutional Ranking Framework, you have excelled and come up as number one. So today IIT Chennai is on that pinnacle, the pinnacle of success, pinnacle of excellence. And now the challenge for you from this day onwards is to ensure that you stay there. And that itself is also a formidable challenge. I believe that institutions like this are the labyrinth, are the womb from where inventions occur that change the course of humanity. And as each generation passes through these hallowed portals, do remember that you are walking in footsteps that are very large and very deep. You carry with you not only the weight of the legacy that you as an individual must deliver on, but you carry with you the torch of all those who have walked before you. And to ensure that this institution and the knowledge impartation that takes place within this institute leaves an indelible mark on you, not only intellectually, but also leaves an indelible mark on your heart. As you go forward in life, you must move forward with strong steps. But as you move forward and succeed in life, that passion and the success must also be emblazoned with a desire to contribute back to your institution, back to society, and back to Bharat Mata. I have had the august company of Professor Ramamurthy ji. He has not only been a guiding light for this institute, but he's been a guiding light for the Minister of Telecommunications as well. In his unassuming manner, but with the quiet confidence that he exudes, he's able to break down complex formulations into simple forms. I spent 4 hours with him yesterday, with the whole team of the Bharat 6G Alliance. And I have a habit of always raising issues on which I prefer to derive much deeper knowledge. And I pushed Ramamurthy ji to explain the concepts and the evolution of our telecom scenario to where we are in the world today on 6G. And he did it most eloquently. And so, ladies and gentlemen, whereas India has followed the world on 4G, we marched with the world on 5G. I am very confident with the time I spent with the Bharat 6G Alliance and the short time I have spent with all of you, that India will lead the world in 6G. IIT Chennai has come a very long way. And I must thank our director, Professor Kamakoti ji, our professors, and all of you. Because over the years, we have developed a very strong bond together. We have developed a very strong relationship together. A bond and a relationship which is committed to moving India up the value curve. We have made tremendous progress on the proliferation of telecom. When I came back to India, when I graduated from Harvard University, and don't ask me to tell you the year because it was before you were born, we didn't have a single mobile phone in our country. We were giving out the licenses for the first 6 cities, the metros. 1993. Were any of you born then? So I was right. God, that makes me feel old. And from there we have gone to 117 crore mobile subscribers. 10 years ago, we had only 25 crore internet connections. In 10 years, we have grown that almost fourfold to 97 crore internet connections. 10 years ago, we had only 6 crore broadband connections. Today, we have 94 crore broadband connections. So from the intricate network circuitry that goes into a PCB, that goes into a RAN, that goes into a, Professor, CU, DU, BU. I'm learning. To networks that span the length and breadth of our country. With BharatNet, we have a very ambitious goal to connect every GP in our country, Gram Panchayat in our country, 246,000 of them. And then get every Bharat Udyami to take the fiber from the OLT to the end customer. So from the intricacy of the circuitry of a PCB to lakhs of kilometers of wire that's being laid out. India has it all. And this environment that you have in India, you will not get, I'm telling you, someone who has spent 8 years in the US of A, the evolution that's happening in India, the delta that's going on in India, the paradigm shift that's happening in India. India today is the hotbed of technology, ladies and gentlemen. It is that. It will continue to remain that because of you. What used to keep countries behind 50 years ago, 70 years ago, the lack of capital. Capital today has become a commodity. Human intellect has become the prize. And Bharat Mata is a storehouse of human intellect. 10,000 of you in IIT Chennai. 10,000 of you in just one IIT. Am I correct? Each one of you has the capability to ignite a flame. Each one of you have that hunger in your stomach and the flame in your heart to bring about monumental change and not incremental change. My Department of Telecom has worked very closely with your institute. The 5G testbed was inaugurated by the Prime Minister in 2022. And scores of test use cases have been successfully implemented on that. I was talking with your faculty, your Gurudevs, and you must call them as Gurudevs, and the desire to spread themselves even further from Delhi to other parts of India to also the Northeast. And let me commit to you, Chennai IITians, I will stand by you through thick and thin, shoulder to shoulder, to ensure success of all your projects. Today, the 6G terahertz testbed, and along with that, the advanced optical communication testbed, both are being housed here. And as I said, your capabilities are tremendous. With the goal of affordability, ubiquity, and sustainability. I was very happy to receive that memento from Professor Kamakoti, with the deep of IIT Chennai in between, and the environment in terms of flora and fauna all the way around. I felt so elated entering your campus, a campus that is a wired campus, both from a telecom technology point of view, an innovativeness point of view, and an environment point of view. Probably the trees and the environment you see in this campus, you will not see in any campus across the country. Think about it. The future of my country is sitting here. Probably the brain power of many countries is sitting in this campus. And amongst it all, you have Cheetal walking across the road. You have Chinkara feeding on the grass, walking by you. If this is not true living, humanity living with nature, then what is? So on this day, I would like to tell all my young friends, young men and women, go forth and find your passion. There must be a hunger in your belly and a thirst in your throat, a desire in your heart to bring about change. You have been gifted to be part of this institution. You have been empowered by the Almighty in terms of intelligence. Now make a change in the world. Go forth with passion. Never give up on your curiosity. Always keep the drive to ask questions. And finally, always work as a team. Because remember that success is not defined by the individual. Success is defined by a team effort. And always remember that you are only as strong as the weakest link in your team. So build each other's strengths. Work as a team. And to the faculty, you are the Gurudevs of this incoming generation of Bharatvasis. This incoming generation of Bharatvasis that will make their impact not only on the Bhumi of Bharat, but सात समुंदर पार के भी भारत के तिरंगे झंडे को गाड़ के रखेंगे मेरे IIT चेन्नई के सभी विद्यार्थी, इसका मुझे पूरा विश्वास है. You are the bedrock and the foundation on which many tall buildings will be constructed. You are the ones that give the firm foundation for this generation to come. So I thank you and I salute you in your contribution to not only your institution, your constitution, your contribution to the building of India. As the Prime Minister says, into an Atmanirbhar nation. The building of India into a Viksit Bharat by 2047. The building of India into a Vishwaguru. That dream will be turned into reality by this Amrit Pidi that will make India cross her Rubicon from her Amrit Kal to her Shatabdi Kal. And with these words, I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Minister, it was a great motivational, intellectual, inspirational, challenging and supportive speech to IIT Madras. We like to assure you the support you will get from the Department of Telecommunications. Every rupee you spend here will lead India, will lead the country, the other institutions and the company to lead us in the global 6G leadership position to create both an Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat. Sir, because of shortage of time, we'll have two questions. Your Jiva, can you come forward to ask your question because you've been raising your hand?
Thanks for your appreciating and motivational words, sir. My question is with regard to, with multiple issues happening around the world in technology as old as pager. With regard to multiple issues happening around the world with age-old technology like pager, I think it's a very compelling time to ensure that we have the entire supply chain in our own nation for the security and integrity of the nation. So what steps is Government of India taking towards the ensuring the entire supply chain in our own nation?
So trust Jiva to come up with a macro question for which I am told I have to give a micro answer. It's a very important question. And the reason why it's important is because as a nation, as I mentioned in my address, we have proliferated telecom as a service across the length and breadth of our country. But now that it's such a huge opportunity, and the fact that we have, as I mentioned, over 1 billion, 117 crore subscribers, and the reach in terms of technology through multiple mediums. It's not only the dabba that you have in your hand. It's not only the 4G or the 5G stack, RAN, core. It's OFC fiber, VSAT, satellite technology for many of our vibrant villages in the northeast, Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, where OFC fiber can't reach, to provide 100% saturation. So when you have that universe of multiple technologies, it's but obvious that you require the manufacturing of telecom equipment also to permeate in India. And let me give you an example. 10 years ago, we used to export only 1,500 crores worth of mobile phones from our country. Each one of these dabbas used to be imported. In 10 years, you have gone from exporting only 1,500 crores worth of mobile phones and 90% of your mobiles being imported to India exporting 1,28,000 crores worth of mobiles. That crore mobiles today are produced in India. So in the telecom equipment space, $101 billion worth of manufacturing, 44 billion is mobile phones, of which 11 billion is exported. Now that's the delta you've seen in just 10 years. And so as you've seen that delta in the mobile unit space, that same delta is now starting to happen in the telecom equipment space. Your whole 4G stack, your 3G stack before that, used to be all produced by the majors. You want to permeate mobile technology? Buy the equipment from them. Your whole 3G network in India, 4G network in India was laid out using imported equipment. So Prime Minister made a decision, critical decision. I can't force her, I can't force him, I can't force him to buy a certain equipment. But Prime Minister made a decision that when BSNL launches 4G, it will only be on the basis of a indigenous 4G stack that's made in India. And in 19 months, CDOT, government-owned company, produced the core. We now have 4 cores laid out in the 4 corners of India, east, west, north, south. All 100% functional. Tejas Networks, an Indian company, manufactured the 4G RAN and BTSs. We have TCS as a SI, system integrator, and BSNL as the client. As of date, we have laid out the 4 cores, 36,850 towers are up and running. My target is 1 lakh by mid of next year. And you'll have your own domestic 4G stack network up in India. And I've gone to Tejas, I've gone to CDOT. The stuff they made is mind-blowing. They'll be in a position tomorrow to export that. And similar will be the case in other areas. I'm just coming today from Flextronics, where Cisco's tied up with them to pick up all Cisco's products that are manufactured by Flextronics today in India. So make in India and made in India is no longer a far dream. It's the reality today, ladies and gentlemen. And you will see made in India products in the next decade powering the globe. India today is the 5th largest economy, 3rd largest economy by 2030. That powering the world is going to come also from equipment manufacturing. And let me give you another example of that. Being techies, you guys probably know better than I do that the genesis of innovation comes from the civil aviation space. Right? Space and civil aviation is where technology is first permeated and innovated, and then usage cases come from that downstream into multiple sectors. I don't know whether many of you are aware that today the tail fins of the Boeing 737s internationally are made in India. The empennage, which is the vertical fin of the C-130J Hercules aircraft,
Transporter.
made in India. The Apache helicopters that you see in action movies, the fuselages of the Apache helicopters, and now Airbus is going to be building its full C-295 aircraft in Vadodara. For an aircraft manufacturer to put in a FAL, final assembly line, is a huge step. But with Prime Minister's prerogative and his interest, he's made it possible. What is government doing? PM has put together a PLI scheme for telecom equipment manufacturing, where both on design and on production, firms that manufacture telecom equipment in India will get an incentive. 3 years of the PLI scheme, we've got 42 companies that are participating. 3,718 crores of investment has come in. 57,000 crores worth of production has taken place. 11,550 crores worth of exports has happened. 22,630 new jobs have been created. 1% also for design as an incentive. So it's not only the production process. We want to vertically backward integrate and make sure that the design part also comes to India. And Flextronics, where I went this morning, is a recipient of this PLI incentive. The second thing we're thinking of doing, Jiva, is we are iterating on that idea right now, but we are thinking of setting up a telecom manufacturing zone in India. So we'll set up a TMZ where all international and domestic producers will come and just put in a plug and play model. The infrastructure, a lot of the stuff which Professor Ramamurthy ji and Kamakoti ji will explain much more articulately than me, your testing labs and all of that which are not core to an equipment manufacturer, all of that will be put in place by government. The infrastructure will be set, the plug and play system will be set. Why? Because we want companies to supplant their whole ecosystem in India. Just the OEM is not good enough. We want all the ancillaries also to come to India. A case in point for you is the auto sector. The auto sector is ancillaries grow around an OEM. And similar is the telecom equipment sector. Similar is the aerospace sector. So we want to set up a TMZ so that the whole ecosystem shifts to India. So that's our initiative and that's our aim, and we will make it happen.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I gave you a macro answer to your macro question.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. One more question because of paucity of time. Anybody, please raise your hands. Okay. Here, the gentleman here from the northeast.
Hello, sir. My name is Tarhania, and I'm from Northeast, as you said, from Arunachal Pradesh. And this thing we have a Northeast Student Organization body in IIT Madras, and as our plan, we are trying to include more Northeastern people in the IIT Madras, like Good Institute and all. And as our plan, we are holding out many events this year, and for that, we look for your support and help for this thing, and our plans are there out here. And by the way, thank you for the airport that you made in Itanagar. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Any more questions? Come on, guys. You guys are a curious group of people, yeah? Must have some question. Jiva's team, any questions?
Yeah, over here, sir. Please.
Hi sir, I'm Yashraj Singh. I'm from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes,
Kahan
sir.
se ho Gwalior se?
Vasant Vihar.
Arey wah. Chalo.
You might know my dad as well.
Very good.
I'm son of.
Kitne saal, how many years have you been here now?
It's my last year, final year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Are you feeling sad?
No. Yeah.
Professor,
I've been grateful that I've been here. I've enjoyed
yeah,
my
but
4 years.
aren't you sad that you're leaving?
I have one more
I
semester.
was very
after
sad when I left college. I'd give anything to be back in your place, boys. Yeah, go ahead.
this. Yeah. So I wanted to know that what is the government of India doing for like the data protection of our like people, like everybody now, there are multiple leaks of mobile numbers. Everybody has access to our mobile number, and we get tons of messages, like we common people get tons of messages on our daily phone, like this and you get this and this. So what is government of India doing for that?
So, necessity is the mother of invention. And when invention takes place, there are multiple positive ramifications. But invention also brings with it sometimes the trutiyan of society. So we have to learn how to treasure the positivity, and we have to learn how to block the negativity. And Vishal, right? Vishal? Yes. You're not the only one who gets troubled by this. I also get troubled by it. I look at my phone and this 0731 number, 080 number, some messages, right? All of us get troubled by it. So the first thing that we did was that we put in place a system of blacklisting calls and messages from those numbers that are unsolicited. TRAI has instructed the telcos, the TSPs, that to recognize calls that are unsolicited, messages that are unsolicited, not only messages but also screening and scrubbing headers, which you would understand, right? So therefore, if a Swiggy is sending you a message for a delivery, that should not be blacklisted because that's a service that's being provided to you. but people who are corrupting those headers and using it for other means. So software processes by which those are screened. And I'm glad to report to you that close to about 10 lakh numbers have been blacklisted. There's also the whole issue of cybercrime and cyber fraud. So we have cancelled close to about 18 lakh mobile numbers as well. And therefore, our systems and the telcos are on complete watch to make sure that we banish the scourge, which bothers you, bothers me, bothers all of us as customers of this service. Obviously, it will be done in a phase-wise manner, but the process is already underway. And we will make sure that we scrub this data and make sure that anyone who approaches you of which you're not desirous of is immediately blacklisted. The other thing that we are thinking of is just now the system is an opt-out system, i.e. that if you do not desire such calls or marketing messages, then you have to approach the telecom provider and say, I do not want these sort of messages. So we are thinking of, as opposed to making an opt-out system where the burden is on the customer, we're thinking of switching it to an opt-in system where the burden will be on the telco provider to approach you and ask you, do you mind, would you like these sort of messages? And only when you give your consent, only then will you get those sort of calls or messages. So those are the things that we're thinking of. Thank you very much for having me.